Yeah, that come here, yes. Do we have a? There will be a transcript from this whole press conference, yes. You don't need that. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney joins us. And Coach, what do you say to your team in the locker room after a game like that?
Well, obviously we're a better football team than you know how we played tonight, and you know it is what it is. The season is over, and the biggest thing I said in there was that you know I love them, and you know we got to live with this the whole off season. Don't play again until September. Those guys that are coming back. And certainly not the finish that we wanted, just too many mistakes. But I talked to our seniors in particular, just thank them for a good year and, you know, getting us where we've wanted to be for a long time. And, you know, going to miss those guys. Love every single one of them. And thank them for all they've done. We got a taste of it tonight, and you know, we'll be back. We'll be back. It won't be 30 years. We'll be back, and hopefully these guys, you know, will play better next time. Simple as that. But this was a game that, you know, too many mistakes. We got off to a fast start, but we could not sustain the momentum on defense. And then all of a sudden, we're getting ready to go up 24-21. Looks like it's going to be a shootout, and we're getting ready to go up 24-21. And you know, it's a 14-point swing. You know, a 99-yard. Touchdown, and you know, which all of a sudden that just opened the door for it's just like a virus, you know, with turnovers, 4 turnovers, 3 of them that they got touchdowns off of, and you know, you can't give a good offense those type of opportunities, easy scores, field position, you know, you know, and it was just snowballed from there. But it's probably as bad you know, defensive performance I've seen in a long, long time, and it's incredibly disappointing. But again, our players have gotten a taste of you know, where we want this program to consistently be, and I think it'll be great lessons for us as we move forward in trying to continue to build our program into the type of program that we want it to be.
All right, we've got 2 microphones, Emily and Lauren, so if you can flag them down and bring the microphones for your question.
Coach, Tim Reynolds with the AP here in Miami. You alluded to it. You alluded to it on the 14-point swing on the Ellington carry and all that. Did you sense at that point that the air was just coming out of the sideline? I mean, such a dramatic. I mean, you had kids celebrating what they thought was a touchdown, and then for it to change that quickly, did you sense that was going to be a particularly huge moment?
Well, I mean, it was a pretty big moment. Like I said, because they hadn't really stopped us. You know, we were scoring, but they were matching us, and we couldn't get a stop. And so we'd get momentum, and then we'd lose momentum. Get momentum, lose momentum. And that was going to be a huge swing for us. Like I said, it's going to put us up 24-21. We're right back in this thing and still searching for a stop. But that was huge. I mean, that was a big play because now all of a sudden I believe it was 28-17. And then again, we all of a sudden we you know, continue to have another turnover here and there, and it just snowballed quickly. And you got to give them a ton of credit. I mean, I'm telling you, that was we still hadn't tackled number one. I mean, he's as good a skill player with the ball in his hands as I've seen all year. I mean, he's special. He is a special football player. He's second in the country in all-purpose, I believe, and you saw why tonight. Very, very talented player. Their quarterback was outstanding. Was he 31 of 45? Do the math on that. 10 of 16 on third down. They had the ball 36 minutes. We had it 23. It's just hard to win, and very, very disappointing. With how it got away from us. But that's how quick things can snowball on you, especially when you start turning it over against a team that can score. It is what it is from that standpoint. This is obviously a very, very disappointing finish for us. But at the end of the day, the season's over, and you got to look at the big picture. And we didn't play well in this game, but we had a good season. And, again, accomplished a tremendous amount and so much for us to build upon, and we can't let one game, get our eyes off of that. We've got a good football team coming back, and, we got to focus on closing this thing out with our banquet and, sending these seniors off the right way and then refocusing on finishing off a really good recruiting class and getting back to work. And our goal will be to get back here. That'll be our goal. That'll be our objective. There's a lot of things out there. Tonight's a bitter taste. Really disappointing for our fans, especially those that travel down here. Just so disappointing for us to play, like we played. But we'll be back.
We're going to go sitting down all the way in the back row, a little to your left, Coach.
Brad Fraley from WIFF in Greenville. Did West Virginia do anything different from what you guys had prepared for 3 weeks as far as what they do on the offensive side? I know Coach Holgorsen says they kind of do what they do, or was it just the mistakes on your defensive side?
Well, it was, turnovers, first of all, which really sucked the life out of us, and then some big mistakes on defense. They didn't do a whole lot different. They just whipped us.
We go one seat in front.
Dabo, you talked about the defense had its share of struggles a lot of the season. How confident are you that it's going to get fixed, and how do you think that it'll be fixed, that sort of moving forward?
Well, I'm as confident as I was last year, standing here in a press conference 6 and 7 and telling you we'd fix it. I'm as confident as that. We'll be better. We'll be better. Ain't no doubt in my mind that, and y'all have seen us play better, but we just did not put it together with 3 phases tonight. And it just was a perfect storm because we were having a hard time stopping them. Again, you got to give them credit. We were having a very difficult time stopping them, but they were having a hard time stopping us too. Really felt like we could run the football on them, and I think, had we been able to keep the game going like we were, we really would have been able to rush the football very well tonight. But it just turned in a hurry, and the turnovers, offensively just killed us, and then that just added to what was going on the defensive side. Might have had a chance if we could take care of the ball. Maybe it'd have been one of those 56, 55, 42, 43 or something type ball games. It would have been an interesting game to see, but we didn't really give ourselves a chance, to get there with the turnovers. And it's one thing to not stop them, but you can't add to the calls with making those critical mistakes.
Next question for Coach Swinney.
Yes, sir.
Again, bring a microphone all the way to the back of the room, please.
Coach Adam Pinsker from Watch Fox TV in Columbia. You talked about the mistakes, the turnovers, and everything. Do you think this was lack of focus being down here this week? Was it or was it West Virginia forcing you to make these mistakes?
No, I don't think it was a lack of focus. I mean, we've prepared very well. Guys practiced well. It's just guys making mistakes. Is it a lack of focus that a guy fumbles the ball going in for a touchdown? Does that mean the other 10 guys aren't focused? I mean, we just didn't make some plays that we were very capable of making. Guys are in position to make plays, and we didn't make some of those plays. It's just that simple, you know. You got to give them credit. We were very focused. Guys were excited about playing, and like I said, got off to a good start. But and I felt like it was probably going to be a shootout. I was hoping that we could slow them down a little bit early, but I knew I had no illusions that they weren't going to score some points. But I really felt like they were going to have a hard time stopping us, and I really think that would have been the case. But we just again self-imploded with some costly turnovers, and gave them great field position. Three touchdowns off of 3 of those turnovers. So hard to win that way. Hard to give yourself a chance.
All right, we'll take a few more questions for Coach. The West Virginia locker room is now open for those who want to make their way down there. We'll go here all the way on the aisle on the left.
Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. No, it's kind of like.
Wow.
You want to bring the other mic over here, please?
Me?
Oh.
Broken record. Everyone looks at the ACC record in the BCS games. Just wondering how much you think the league should be judged, based on some of the performances, in these bigger games.
Well, I mean, we got to play better. We've had opportunities. I thought Virginia Tech, certainly had their opportunity. They played much better than we did. Didn't play well enough to win, but some of the other teams I think have been competitive. But it all comes down to winning, and we've not had a good year this year. We certainly didn't do our part. I don't really worry about other people, to be honest with you. I'm just focused on Clemson, and that's really the only thing that matters to me. I'm really not concerned with everybody else, but very disappointing from that standpoint in how we played and represented our conference.
All right, we'll stay on the outside aisle, 2 rows back.
Coach Dieter Kurtenbach with the South Florida Sun Sentinel. 7 touchdowns for Geno Smith. Have you ever seen a quarterbacking performance like that against a team of yours?
No. I mean, he was awesome. He played great. And like I said, the skill player, I mean, they caught everything thrown to him. 1 and 3 were spectacular. I mean, he's had 65% completion percentage all year. I mean, he's done it all year long. And, he made some big scrambles on 3rd down, at least 3 or 4 times where he really hurt us in that regard. So he's good. He's a very good football player. He's as good as we've seen all year. We knew that coming in, and we didn't do a good job of disrupting what they were doing in the passing game. And and then one just. He was better than us out there tonight.
We're going to standing up all the way in the back right of the room.
Coach Joe Gorger, WIS in Columbia. Focusing in on the defense, where do you think this unit needs to improve going into the offseason? Any changes in particular in mind right now thinking about that you would like to make, perhaps?
Well, I mean, we got to look at everything that we've done this year, good and bad, and evaluate. That's just what you do. I mean, we are the ACC champions. We did win 10 games. I think we were 2nd in the country with wins versus ranked opponents. So, it's not like we have not done anything. But we have not played to our standard defensively at all. And nobody's going to, tell you otherwise. And our defensive coaches are as disappointed as I am. But, again, we knew that we were going to have some struggles this year, but I just really felt like that we got to get some guys to play with a little more discipline, a little more consistency, and just too many missed assignments. So we got to look at what we're doing and make sure that guys know what they're doing because again, missed assignments lead to big plays. So we'll look at everything and how we're doing it, and come back next year. We're the 9th scoring defense in the country last year. Top 25 the year before. So, ain't nobody forgot how to coach or anything like that. We just got to grow some guys up, and they will get better from this experience. There's no doubt about that. We got some guys that are going to be coming that I think will be able to help us as well. And, just learn from this year. We got a lot of film to study and evaluate and learn from. That's what you do in the off season. Then you try to come back and have a better year next year.
All right, Coach Holgorsen, thank you very much for your time.
Coach Swinney.
Coach Swinney, excuse me. I'm looking down. Coach Holgorsen's coming next. He's the other coach.
All
Sorry about
right.
that. Coach, thank you very much for your
Okay.
time.
All right, thank you, guys.
Coach Holgorsen will be next. He'll be bringing with him Geno Smith, who is the Discover Orange Bowl MVP, Tavon Austin, and Najee Goode. Is that what I said? Just leave it. Just leave it. All right, the players will be here in just a moment. Start with Coach Holgorsen. And Coach, will open it up just by asking you if you could have ever imagined that that's how the game was going to go.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly how we draw it up, right? No, Clemson's a heck of a football team. And, I was just telling them on the way in, regardless of what the score ended up, there was nothing easy about that. There is a snowball effect at one point in the game, and the only way that can happen is if you got, three sides of the ball playing together and they're feeding off of each other, which we've been preaching that for quite some time, but we just kind of got at a point where we just kind of started snowballing and all three sides were playing pretty good.
I will open up to questions. Once again, if you can flag down either Lauren or Emily, and we'll get your questions. Let's start in the back of the room, sitting down.
Coach Brad Freilich, WYFF in Greenville. Can you talk about how much things kind of spun around on that one play, the 99-yard fumble return for a touchdown?
Well, yeah, and it's as a coach, it's good to see something like that happen because we've been telling them for a long, long time, just to keep playing, and I told the guys, look, man, this is this life is a lot like this too. There's going to be good things happen, there's going to be bad things happen, but you just got to keep playing. And defense in the first quarter, defense gave up, two touchdowns in the first three drives. So did Clemson. And then Clemson was driving down to put another touchdown on the board, but we kept playing and we looked for an opportunity to make a play. And, making one when our backs are against the wall on the 1 yard line is something that's pretty cool to see. So then, obviously the tide turned from there, but then offense went back out there and kept playing, and special teams made a play, and then defense kept playing as well.
I'll go here in the second row to your right.
Greg Talkington, the Exponent Telegram. Coach, Geno's first few throws were like a little high and off a little bit. Did you have to settle him down after the first series?
No, I didn't say anything to him. 31 for 42 for 401, 6 touchdowns, didn't get sacked. I thought he was playing pretty good. I don't know what you were looking at, but well, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, what I just said about I thought I mean, we scored 2 touchdowns in the first 3 drives. You don't come out jittery and not starting well and do that. So I thought he played well from the very beginning. Not having any negative plays, not taking any sacks, not turning the ball over. If you throw a couple of incompletions, I think we can live with it if you don't do any of those things.
Go here in the outside aisle.
Dana Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. Was Tavon or Geno's performance more impressive to you?
Now that I would have to look at the film to kind of study for sure, but I do know who the fastest kid on the field was, and that was very obvious. And we made a conscious effort to get him the ball a bunch, and whenever we got him the ball, he made things happen. So, and he's a kid that the more he gets the ball, the more confidence he has. And when he started making a few plays, he looks at me and says, "Coach, you're going to get me the ball again, right?" I said, "Get in there and let's do it." And when he says that and he's got that mindset, then he's pretty hard to stop.
Next question. We'll go right back to Andrea.
The Big East has gotten a bad rap of late in these BCS games, and yet you guys are about to leave the conference. So from your perspective, does this say anything about the Big East, or is this more about you guys and moving forward and wherever you may be next year?
Well, I got 2 comments on that. One, I've only been there a year, I know, but West Virginia's won 3 BCS games in the last 6 years, which is a pretty good track record. So, and West Virginia's been in the Big East for the last 6 years, last time I checked. So I think that's a pretty good track record. And then, going through the Big East schedule 1 year, we had some pretty tough games. We lost a couple of those, and then the ones that we won were tough. So the product that West Virginia was out there, there's a lot of teams in the Big East that gave us all we wanted. You have all kinds of questions,
I
don't
guess
you?
I do. The defense, really set the tone, obviously, with the way that the momentum shifted, and that's something the defense has done here in the last 4 games. What do you think has been just the biggest difference there? 3 defensive scores in the last 4 games here, and really have set the tone in all those games.
Well, Jeff's done a great job with our defense all year long. But like I told him, pretty much all year, and these guys will vouch for that. But I don't think we're good enough on any side of the ball to be in the position that we're in right now. I think we're pretty tough to beat when all 3 sides of the ball play together. When defense is rooting for offense and offense is rooting for defense, and special teams gets out there and plays hard. I think we had figured out the formula after game 8. And finished the year with 4 wins that amplified what we were talking about.
And obviously we have the players who have joined us now, and Geno will open up with one question to you. How much more special was this knowing that you're doing it in your backyard with 5 other guys on this team who went to high school with you in your backyard? Your high school coach was in the crowd. How much more special does that make it to you?
It's special to be here and in a place where I basically grew up at, and to do it in front of my family and friends, and to be with my teammates. But I'm not a selfish guy. It's not about me. It's about getting a victory for these seniors, and making sure that we put our program where we need to be, and making sure that we represented our state and our university.
We'll go down here on the right, 3 rows back.
To Geno and to Tavon, when the Darwin made the fumble recovery, were you watching the play, or what was your reaction, and just how big that obviously was a big play in the game?
When they were down there, near the end zone, we were just, getting ready to go back out there and, try and score. We figured, they might have scored or they might not, but, whatever happened, we were going to try and go out there and match it. And Darwin made a great play. He's been making plays all year, and, it's just good for him to step up in a big game and, come up with that touchdown.
right, sitting down.
This
last row
one's
and
for
center.
both you guys. You know, you come in, 83% of the country has picked Clemson to beat you guys. I know it's not something that's huge, but obviously something that kind of stuck with you. How much more did that make you want to win this game?
I mean, it definitely was huge for me. Me and Tavon Brown was in a hotel, and it's the first time I seen it. And I kind of got mad, turned the TV off, and just went to sleep. And came down with the right attitude. Coach Holgorsen got us together in our meeting. He told just believe in himself and believe in people in his room. And that's what we did. We bought into what he said, and we got the job done.
We'll go standing up in the back of the room.
Chip
center.
Fontanazza from Metro News. Guys, can you just talk about putting up the 70 points and the kind of flow that you guys were in tonight on offense?
You know, we got into a rhythm early. You know, we were moving the chains. The offensive line did a great job at, you know, picking up blitzes and moving guys off the ball. You know, the run game helped out a lot. Sean Austin and, you know, Andrew Bowie stepped up big tonight. And, you know, we just continue to believe and, you know, continue to trust our coaching and, you know, execute the game plan.
We're gonna go all the way to the right, about 4 rows back.
Hi, guys. Dieter Kernbach with the Sun Sentinel. Geno and then Coach after. Best game you ever had, Geno?
So far, you know, I'm not satisfied. You know, we're not satisfied. You know, we can always improve. You know, I felt like, you know, I still left some yards out there, still left some plays out there. You know, some things I want to have back, but you know, overall it was a good game. You know, I'm not going to sit here and you know, say that, you know, we didn't play well because, you know, obviously we did.
Coach, best game you've ever had for a quarterback on your team?
We've had some pretty good performances over the years. We're gonna enjoy this one. You know, we did everything that we were supposed to do for the last, you know, going back to it may be closer to 2 months now, and really proud of the way that these guys responded when our backs are against the wall. And we got, you know, we did what we were supposed to do to get here. We prepared hard. You know, we respected our opponent. You know, but we weren't scared of anybody. And we went out there and we did what we had to do to win the game, and we're going to enjoy it.
Busy celebrating, oh, man.
We'll go right all the way to the left near the back.
This is for Geno. I know it's all about the team for you, but at any point where you think about breaking Tom Brady's record or Matt Leiner's record, I know that has to mean something special
Honestly,
to you.
not at all. You know, I had no idea that, you know, those records even existed. You know, I had no idea those guys had those records. But, you know, it's just great to be mentioned, you know, in the same breath as those guys because, you know, obviously they've done some great things and they're in a place where I want to be someday.
We're going to go standing in the last row.
Geno, this one is for you, but about Tavon. Coach earlier said he knew who the fastest guy on the field was. What's it like for you when you dump it off to him or you give him a handoff to watch him go at it?
Oh, man, he won me the MVP. You know, I should give him my trophy. You know, I toss him a 2-yard pass, and, you know, he takes it the distance every time. And, you know, he's one of the quickest guys I've ever seen, you know, with and without a football. And, you know, it's just a blessing to have a guy like him, you know, on my team.
Go all the way to the left on the 3rd row.
Najee, the defense has really stepped up here in the last month of the season, and you guys really changed the momentum of this game with Darwin's fumble recovery. What is it about you guys, you think, that's allowed you to come together and have such impressive performances?
Throughout the year, we've been able to play good defense, like a bend-don't-break method. And when we get down the red zone, we're able to capitalize on certain things like fumbles, turnovers, and we actually didn't know it happened, and we saw Cook taking off full speed, so all I did was just haul right behind him, you know, and just following him. And, you know, for our offense, it's huge because they feed off our momentum, and we able to feed off, you know, each other's momentum, and the crowd got into it, and it just made the game that much better.
Andrea again.
For Tavon, what was it about tonight in this game that had you feeling it, so to speak, and having such a good performance?
When they said Sammy was the best player on the field, and they definitely said then 84% voted we was going to lose. And I kind of took that offensive. Our coaches did, players did on the team, and he came in. We had a serious meeting before we got here. It wasn't no laughing, no joking around, and we came in and got the job done.
We're right in the middle of the chairs.
Geno, this one's for you. Do you see this as a springboard for next season?
Definitely, you know, but, you know, we can't, you know, take it lightly. You know, we got to go back and, you know, get back to work and, you know, try and work twice as hard as we did last season. You know, if we want to, you know, be back here next year. And, you know, we believe that, you know, we're contenders, but, you know, we definitely got to come out and prove it.
Any other questions? All right, guys, thank you very much. Congratulations. The West Virginia Mountaineers, your 2012 Discover Orange Bowl champions. You guys want to take oranges with you?
I got a bunch of them.
We'll just, you can stand.